Uh, Thanksgiving, turkey gods. I ate too much. Gobble, gobble. Yeah, that was a leopard print pillow. So what? You got make something of it. Anyway, what's up, people? It is Friday, November 25th. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And I hope everybody stuffed themselves stupid yesterday because I know I did. Paid for it in the gym this morning, but I still got it out. Today, just wanted to, since Thanksgiving was yesterday, the biggest thing in my life one of the biggest things in my life that I'm thankful for is the wrestling business. I'm thankful for everything that I did in 23 years in the wrestling business. I'm thankful for everybody I came across. Thankful for every promotion I've wrestled for. Thankful for everybody that I got in a ring with, whether it good, bad, ugly. I'm thankful for everything. My whole wrestling journey, I wouldn't change one thing about it, except for I wish I would have gotten in a little bit sooner. Other than that, I wouldn't have. I really surprised and shocked myself on how far I've gotten into the business. So yes, I'm completely thankful for the wrestling business. Since this is a wrestling thing, I figured I'd come on here and say what I'm thankful for in this business. And that's from top to bottom. Referees I've been in a ring with, the fans. The fans are the number one thing to be thankful for, because without them and the fans I've met over the years, I can get into stories about those too. I may soon get into those stories about the different fans I've met throughout the years, which were phenomenal fans. So yeah, thankful for the wrestling business. So today, one thing came to mind. I had a list when I first started wrestling. I told y'all this a while back that when I first started wrestling, it was pretty bad. It was horrible because I didn't go to a school. I wasn't fortunate enough to go to a school. I wasn't fortunate enough to train with a bunch of guys. I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to have access to a ring 2 to 3 times a week to practice and learn my craft. I had to learn it all through my wrestling matches, which another one that I'm really thankful for are the people who first gave me my first opportunity in Alabama, Al Savage and all them. And he put me in a ring with some guys there was a few guys that were top indie guys at that time. And I had a list like throughout. Once that promotion ended, I went on to other things in other places and other areas and met other people. But there was a list that I got in a ring with 5 guys that at the very beginning of my career, when I say my first 10 matches, probably less than that, was disgustingly horrible. But I got in a ring with 5 guys, and it was 5 guys that I wanted to prove to that I improved. Because once you get a label for being a shitty wrestler in this business, it pretty much sticks with you. And I didn't like that. So I had a list. No particular order. Was Steve Anthony, Al Savage, Tony Sweat, and the Armstrongs, Scott and Bullet Bob Armstrong. I had a tag match with a guy that was almost as green as I was, against Bob and Scott. And the match I personally thought went horrible because Scott had to talk me down in the match and everything. Scott's one of the best guys you can ever meet in this business. He's almost as nice as I am, but him and Bullet were one of the best. Bullet used to they lived in Pensacola, and Bullet wrote an article on different independent wrestlers. And dude, I was like a month into the wrestling business. He wrote an article on me, and I have that article somewhere in my room. But anyway, so long story short, I got to wrestle Steve Anthony one-on-one for the first time in Belle Chase Naval Air Base in front of military. If you've never wrestled in front of a military base, in front of military people, that is one of my favorite places to wrestle because they pop for everything. I clotheslined the hell out of this guy one time, and they just came unglued. And it's one of the best, one of the best. And plus, you get to wrestle in front of the USA's biggest, baddest asses ever. And but me and Steve Anthony had a match there, and we had a really good match. It was good. We also had another one in Houma together that was really good. He kind of got upset with me on that one because I blew up. I was 300 pounds, and the dude was running me all over the damn ring. I got blown up. I blew one thing in the ring, and he got pretty upset with me. But the matches we had overall were very good. And I proved, it was something that I personally proved to myself that I can stick with him a little bit. Tony Sweat, when Paul Bearer, a.k.a. Bill Moody, a.k.a. Percy Pringle III, Paul Bearer, the manager of The Undertaker, when he was off on when he was off with WWE, he would come back to town, and he lived in Mobile. He and I became good friends because I'm an LSU fan, he's an Alabama fan, and we used to rib each other all the time. Paul Bearer was one of the biggest ribbers in the business. I can get into some of those too. But he started running his own independent shows in the Grand Bay area, which is right around Mobile. And he started booking me, and he loved me. He loved a couple other guys from over here that he'd get to come in. And he put me against Tony Sweat. Well, the last time Tony Sweat seen me was the third or fourth match that I've ever had. And I was ready. So when he walked in the door, you could tell the look on somebody's face when they get upset. When Moody told him, yeah, you got Minotaur tonight. And he's like, okay. And he looks at me, he's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Boy, I'm going to shock the shit out of him. And so we talked over a little match. I said, listen, I'm different now. I'm just letting you know, straight off. I'm letting you know that I'm a little different now. I was like, yeah, whatever, kid. Blah, blah, blah. So we get in the ring and we going at it. Doom, doom, doom. We going at it. Well, I was gonna give him a shoulder tackle. He came off out of a headlock, came off whatever, shoved it, hit the ropes, came back. When I throw my shoulder tackles, I throw everything I have. Well, I hit him. Boom. When I hit the dude, Tony Sweat, you got to realize, is probably about 6 foot and about 5 foot wide. The dude is completely jacked. He did a fireman gimmick. And the guy, he's jacked, huge. He's the one that threw me over the top rope at my first Battle Royal. And I thought he threw a 350-pound man over the top rope with no problems. Dude is jacked. He's freaking huge. So when I hit this dude like a ton of bricks, like a brick wall. When he hit me, he dropped. He dropped like a ton of bricks. And I went, ooh. I looked down, and when I dropped him, I guess he didn't, to me, I thought he didn't think I was going to hit him that hard. But I did. I knocked the shit out of him. But when he went down, I looked at the ref. The ref ran after to go check on him. And when I looked down at Tony, I read his lips. His lips said, I broke my leg. All the color went from my face. I was like, oh, shit. What did I do? So he rolls out the ring. I grab the ref. I'm bitching at the fans, and I'm going, okay, what did he say? He goes, he broke his leg. I went, great. Let's see if we can get him back in here. So I go on the outside the ring. I pick his ass up. I throw him back in the ring, and I get on top of him, and I'm punching him. And I'm like, dude, what? He goes, let's go. Let's keep going. I went, okay, but this time, dude, I'm nervous wreck. So I carried him through the rest of the match. He did his finish. 1, 2, 3. Match was over. We get in the back, and I'm scared to death. And I'm waiting for him by the door to come through the door. And I'm scared to death. He comes through the door. Bro, that was awesome. He jumps in my arms, hugs me. He's all excited that I carried him. He was like thanking me, and I'm going, what the hell? He actually snapped his leg in a match he had with Road Dogg a couple of weeks before, and it was still hurting him. He didn't tell me that. He didn't say anything about it while we were talking about the match to go out there. So it scared the living bejesus out of me. I thought I broke his leg. So he just went nuts over me, how much I've improved, how anybody else would have left the ring and this, that, and the other. And I decided to grab him, throw him in the ring, and start beating the hell out of him. And dragging him all over the ring until the finish of the match. So he was all excited about that, and that was another one that I got to prove that I kind of knew what I was doing in this business. And Al Savage, I got to tag with him in Houma, so I didn't really get to wrestle him when I wanted to, because brother, there's nothing like a match with Al Savage. Anyway, I got the tag with him, so I guess that's going to satisfy me because he's no longer in the business. I'm no longer in the business, and that's that. But we still keep in touch with one another. He's a horrible Alabama fan too. Like this guy, his shirt that I'm wearing, Brandon Lawless Fitness. He's an Alabama fan, but I still friends, regardless, even though they're like shitty teams. But anyway, the last two I have that I never thought I'd ever get back in the ring with was Scott and Bob. And I had a promoter from Mississippi call me one day and say, hey, we need you to come up here, wrestle for us in Poplarville, Mississippi. And I was like, I don't know, I'm pretty booked up. He goes, well, we need you to tag with somebody against Scott and Bob. And I was like, I'm there, free. You don't have to pay me, just give me gas money. I'm there. I'll be there. So they said, bring somebody with me to tag with. So I said, okay. So, I was, which is another story that I can tell down the line. I had taken a couple of guys with me that Old School was training under Mardi Gras and Gary Gerard. We were kind of they had a training school, and I would go over there and help out. And there was a couple of guys that I took under my wing. That you spread the wealth in the wrestling business. Somebody took me under their wing, so I took them. I was taking them everywhere I went, and trying to get them booked, and they were getting booked slowly but surely. And so I brought Mike with me, Mike Chaos with me, and I was all excited, like yeah. But when we got there, all hell it changed. Mike wound up working somebody else, and it wound up being a 6-man tag. Well, I think it was me, Chris Black, and somebody else against Bullet, Scott, and a little bitty midget promoter guy from Florida. I can't think of his name either. But we wound up, when Scott found out he was wrestling me, and when Scott first saw me, he popped. He went nuts. So I told Scott, I said, I don't care what we do in this match, you and I opening the match. Because the last time we opened a match, it was horrible. He goes, brother, it wasn't that bad. I said, yes, it was. I got something to prove to your ass. And he goes, all right, let's go. So we didn't talk about nothing. We just knew we were going to lock up, and we're going out there, and we're going to have a match. And we knew what we were going to do during the match with the 6-man tag. It was going to be some big brawl, big melee. And here I am. I'm going to punch Bob Armstrong at the end of the match so somebody can get a quick schoolboy victory on him. And I had a brass knuckles in my hand, and now I got to hit a 60-something-year-old man with brass knuckles. So I was a little nervous there. But when we got to the ring, me and Scott looked at each other across the ring. We locked up, and we went at it. Well, we went at it. Move for move, hold for hold, and we started going. And the whole time I kept hearing, brother. And boy, it made me feel so good. Because after the match, he came up to me, he goes, bro, you have improved so much. And so the first time I got to go to WWE, he was there. And he kind of put me over in front of the guys a little bit. And I'm always thankful for Bullet and Scott, because Bullet and Scott are from Pensacola, Florida. They've ran in Pensacola, Florida. That whole area, Mobile, Alabama, Florida area, they're huge. Their name is huge, and so is Paul Bearer. So I was thankful for them through my wrestling journey that I was able to work with and for them many times. And I got to wrestle the other brother, Road Dogg. I got to wrestle him once for Paul Bearer, and that was a cool little match. But those 5 guys, I got to kind of prove to them that I half-wittedly knew what I was doing in that ring, which I didn't, but who cares? I'm Minotaur. I could have done anything I wanted to. Anyway, but yeah, that was cool. So that's my story for this week. I had a list of 5 guys I wanted to prove my betterness to, and I did. And I feel in my heart that I did. If they don't feel it, bug them. I love Tony to death. I love Steve Anthony to death. I love Scott and Bob. Rest in peace, Bob. And Al Savage, he's just another one because he's a freaking Alabama fan. And he's a Dallas Cowboys fan too. Some friends I have. Anyway, that's it for this week. Next Friday, I'll think about what I'm going to do next Friday, because I think about it all week and I go, yeah, I'm going to do it about this. And I say, no, I'm going to do it about this. And then by the time Friday comes, I'm like, nope, completely different. So if y'all enjoying these things, please let me know. I'm getting pretty good feedback on it. And like I said, share it to all your wrestling friends, please, because a lot of people are out there, they don't know about it. I've talked to people in public like, oh man, you're doing a YouTube? Yeah. Look me up, subscribe, let's go. Let's get this let's go, man. I'm telling stories that fans and other side of the business don't get to hear without saying too many things, obvious things. So like, share, comment. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next week.